Straight ahead, a handful of local Air National Guardsmen may be home for the holidays after all. One day after the historic impeachment vote, President Clinton continues to reject calls for his resignation. And move over McCoy septuplets. A Houston family has upped the ante to 8. It's all coming up next on Channel 6 News at 11.
Now, the #1 news station in the capital region. This is Channel 6 News at 11.
And good evening. I'm Doug Lezette sitting in for Mary Beth Wenger. U.S. and Iraqi military officials are starting to sort through the damage caused by the Desert Fox airstrikes. Iraqi's UN ambassador is claiming his country suffered thousands of dead or wounded from 4 days of U.S. and British attacks. Those numbers, though, conflict with previous reports indicating that at least 42 Iraqis were killed and just 96 wounded. President Clinton said the 70-hour assault severely damaged Iraq's ability to build weapons of mass destruction. Several members of the Stratton Air National Guard base in Glenville had thought that they would have been going to support Operation Desert Fox, but those 5 medical technicians learned today, just moments before they were to leave, that they would not have to be going and they will be staying here with their families in the capital region for the holidays instead. One day after the historic impeachment vote regarding President Clinton, he spent the day with his family. The president attended Sunday Mass this morning in Washington. Yesterday, he earned the dubious distinction of becoming only the second president in history ever to be impeached. A defiant Clinton has rejected calls for his resignation, vowing to stay in office until the last hours of his term. The impeachment case is now expected to go to the Senate, where it needs a 2/3 vote to pass. The president may have lost his battle on Capitol Hill, but he has won the honor of Time Magazine's Man of the Year. Mr. Clinton will have to share the honor with the man whom he shared the headlines, independent counsel Kenneth Starr. On the decision to include both men on the cover, Time's managing editor said the two are paired for history. That issue of Time hits the newsstands tomorrow. A list of potential House Speaker successors is starting to surface, and it appears Representative J. Dennis Hassert is the frontrunner to replace Speaker-elect Bob Livingston. He shocked the entire House floor by announcing Saturday he would not succeed outgoing Speaker Newt Gingrich, nor will he complete his congressional term. The startling move came just days after Livingston admitted to an extramarital affair. Hassert is a 6-term Republican from Illinois. Locally now, an Amsterdam man is behind bars tonight after authorities say he broke into a home and forced himself on a woman. 27-year-old Maurice Darby is being charged with sodomy, sexual abuse, and burglary. Around 4 o'clock this morning, police say Darby sexually abused a woman before she fought him off and called police. Darby is being held without bail in the Montgomery County Jail. 7 people were injured in a 2-car accident in Washington County this afternoon. State police say 2 vans collided on Route 22 in Salem. 4 children suffered minor injuries, but 6-year-old Gary Bissett and an adult, Kathleen Bayon, were both airlifted to Albany Med. The child is listed in stable condition tonight with internal bruising. Bayon was treated and released with minor head injuries. Quick work by firefighters helped save the lives of 9 people trapped on a fire escape of a Troy apartment building. Officials say the blaze broke out at number 40 102nd Street around 5 this morning. Several people made the jump from the 2nd floor before the fire department arrived, including a woman who injured her ankle. She was transported to Samaritan Hospital. The cause of the blaze is still unknown, but it is considered very suspicious. A hit-and-run accident has a Troy man facing some serious charges. Police say 31-year-old Larry Agar struck a vehicle carrying an adult and 4 children on Mill Street in South Troy. He fled the scene but was soon caught. He now faces a host of charges, including DWI, leaving the scene of an accident, and others. 2 of the children involved were transported to Albany Med with minor injuries. With Christmas just less than a week away now, Santa and some of his helpers had a chance to stop by Washington Park in Albany. Kids around the capital region met with some of Santa's reindeer. Rudolph unable to make the trip, judging from those dark noses there. Tonight's event was part of the annual Capitol Holiday Lights in the Park celebration. But the unseasonably warm weather confused a figure from a different holiday, as the Easter Bunny also made an appearance there, sitting on Santa's lap. Maybe Steve Hammes can help us explain this warm weather. It's got got a wrong fixture of the springtime holiday out there tonight rather than Santa, Steve, or in addition to Santa.
So true, Doug, but unfortunately we will not be talking about warm weather for much longer. Much colder weather coming in here by Tuesday. Right now, though, temperatures are at or around freezing right now. 30 in Albany, 34 in Syracuse, and 34 in Binghamton. The precipitation that I've been talking about tonight is now beginning to show itself just a little bit on the radar. It is very unimpressive right now. We're looking at maybe just a little bit of light snow shower activity, perhaps a few flurries up towards Saratoga County. Some of this not even making its way to the ground. It is cold enough right now for some snow. This possibly may be mixed with a little bit of sleet. So maybe a light snow shower, a light sleet shower overnight. Very insignificant. Not a lot of precipitation. Some of this frozen stuff may be left around tomorrow morning in the form of some light freezing rain. That would be early on. Then quickly temperatures will rise above freezing, and that will change over to some rain showers by the afternoon. Tomorrow, a mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild day. High temperatures tomorrow into the low 40s, and this will be the last mild day as Arctic air pushes its way in here for the rest of the week. More on that story coming up in a few minutes. Doug?
All right, thank you, Steve. Still to come on Channel 6 News, a special delivery for a Houston woman in the form of 8 bundles of joy. We'll have the story coming up.
Channel 6 closed captioning for the hearing impaired is underwritten by Raymore and Flanagan. This segment of Channel 6 News is sponsored by Raymore and Flanagan.
Move over McToy septuplets. Meet the Chuckwoo octuplets. They are 8 little bundles of joy delivered to a Houston family. No woman has done that before and have them all survive. Nigeria native Nikim Chuckwoo is the proud mother of 2 boys and 6 girls. The first baby was delivered at a Houston hospital 2 weeks ago, and then the other 7 were delivered this morning. 8 altogether are the first for Chuckwoo and her husband, but they're all unfortunately listed in critical condition.
We're very hopeful that all the babies will survive. They're critically ill newborns, and so we can't say for sure everything's going to be okay, but
the babies range in weight from 11 ounces to just under 2 pounds. Their mother, who suffered a miscarriage of triplets earlier this year, was using fertility drugs. 10 years ago this week, a plane crashed in Scotland. It was Pan Am Jet Flight 103, and it wasn't an accident. The 747 was bombed out of the sky. 259 lives were lost. Their names are engraved on a monument near the crash site in Lockerbie. Relatives are gathering there and in Syracuse. 35 of the victims were university students. Channel 6's Darcy Wells will be in Syracuse tomorrow as students and families mark the 10th anniversary of the tragedy. Albany's oldest African-American Baptist church got a facelift just in time for Christmas. Today, parishioners at the Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church celebrated the completion of a $1 million renovation project. Year-long refurbishing projects were done through the craftsmanship and efforts of church members. Well, weather's coming up next as Steve Hammes looks ahead to the holiday week.
Doug, we may have a little bit of wintry precip around here tonight, then a mild day tomorrow, then very cold air in here for the rest of the holiday week. More on that forecast coming up after the break.
And now, your Storm Team 6 forecast with Steve Hammes.
Well, it was yet another mild December day today. The official high today, 43 degrees. The official low is our current temperature right now at 29 degrees. The normals for this time of the year are 33 and 16. So you can see well above that once again. And it's been continuing to be a mild December, but that's all about to change. No rain or snow here today at Albany or at the station. The sun rises tomorrow morning at 7:22. The sunset at 4:25. Incidentally, this is the shortest day of the year, so the days will only be getting longer after this. 29 degrees outside right now under cloudy skies, humidity at 70%. Winds out of the north at 6 miles per hour, but these winds will become southerly overnight, bringing with it a little bit of precipitation perhaps. The pressure at 30.47 inches and falling off just a bit. Clouds moving their way across the northeast right now. We've got an area of low pressure brewing here over parts of Ohio with a cold front kind of working its way down through the middle part of the country. The dividing line really between the very Arctic cold air to the north and the not so bad temperatures down to the south. We're talking 40s and 50s, even as far north here as central Pennsylvania, where there's a little bit of light precipitation here tonight as well in the form of a little bit of light rain. And we do have a little bit of that working its way up into the capital region tonight. Really not a big deal. The big weather story, though, is the cold plunge of air here coming out of Canada, moving into the northern two-thirds of the country right now. We're talking bitterly cold air here. Now, we will brush into a little bit of this cold air. We will not see the arctically cold temperatures they're seeing, with temperatures right now at 21 degrees below zero through parts of Wyoming right now. That is not the type of air we will be seeing. We will see our high temperatures, though, move only into the mid-20s, actually, coming up by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. This may be a stretch for a while, too, so winter is really going to be settling in, even though it officially arrives tomorrow night at about 8:56. It'll really begin to take hold on Tuesday. Radar picture right now enhanced. You can see the white here indicating where there might be a little bit of light snow falling. The pink, this may be mixing in with a little bit of rain, perhaps a little bit of sleet as well, then rain just further to the south where temperatures are above freezing right now. The radar echoes have been rather unimpressive tonight. It doesn't look like this is going to be a big deal at all. We may pick up just a little bit of light snow, some flurries, maybe a snow shower or a sleet shower. Looks like most of that happening out towards the western Mohawk Valley right now if we look at Doppler radar, and most of this is going to be very light too. So the Capital District may just be spared. There's a chance for that shower, but not a big deal. Your morning commute tomorrow morning should be a-okay. There might be a little freezing rain around early tomorrow morning before temperatures warm, and that will change over back to rain. Coldest air of the season so far, moving its way farther south now. The northern branch of the jet stream, which has been bottled up to the north, finally moving a little bit further south, and the southern branch now beginning to take a little dive further to the south. So some nice weather down into parts of the Gulf Coast states, the southeast. Moderate temperatures here for us for one more day. As you can see your forecast picture for tomorrow, the warm front will continue to lift off towards the northeast, and that will be bringing with it any frozen precipitation in the morning, changing over to rain showers by the afternoon. Then the big time cold front will begin to approach. It will be here on Tuesday, and get ready. This is really going to be the onset of winter weather around here. Cloudy skies overnight tonight, maybe a sleet or snow shower, 25 for the overnight low. Any frozen precip ends early tomorrow morning. Afternoon rain showers will develop, a mostly cloudy and breezy day, mild too, 42. Then for Tuesday, everything begins to change, turning windy and colder. Any leftover rain showers will change over to snow showers. Early high temperatures of around 40, diving through the 20s through the afternoon. Wind chills by the afternoon on Tuesday will easily be down around 0. Then for Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies, 25 with a stray flurry both Wednesday and Thursday, and the early look at Christmas. Right now, if it's going to be white, it's going to have to come from some snow showers on Tuesday. We'll see high temperatures only of around 25, overnight lows in the teens. Okay. Storm Team 6 weather phone, Doug, at 476 WRGB.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve. Okay. We mentioned to you earlier some local airmen who thought that they might be going to help with Operation Desert Fox. This afternoon, John Russell was with them just minutes after they learned they wouldn't have to go.
For this 26-year-old staff sergeant, losing a chance to serve for his country overseas was a disappointment.
It was a done deal where we were ready to board the aircraft and fly out, and I was mentally prepared, ready to go. And sometimes the Air Force needs come down and they tell us, hey, you got to hold up today and maybe tomorrow.
The 5 medical service personnel of the 139th have been put on standby alert until Monday. They've spent the past 48 hours getting ready for the deployment, one that would have had them in the Gulf and handling battle casualties.
You know, that combination of disappointment and relief that goes with any challenging situation that people are facing. They were prepared to go, ready to go. We've been through this drill a couple of times here in the recent months.
And while being on standby is not easy, the soldiers will tell you it's part of their job.
It's a very honorable thing. I don't mind the sacrifices that go along with that of being separated from your family. That's part of the, serving your country is a sacrifice, and I'm very willing to make that sacrifice.
What happened today is actually not that unusual because being a member of the Air National Guard means being ready even when you're not called.
Our purpose is to stand by, train, be fully trained and qualified so that in relatively short notice we can go. From the time of our official word that we got until this date was less than 48 hours. So we, all day long yesterday, they were doing their last minute training.
John Ross.
The Air Guard members are on standby alert until Monday. That's when they will find out where they will be spending the holidays. Still ahead, the Giants look to stay alive in the postseason hunt. Plus, the Patriots look to air it out against the 49ers. John's up next with sports when we come back.
And now, Sports with John Discepolo.
Welcome back, everybody. When you're the New England Patriots and your star quarterback and star receiver are both out with fractured bones, and the team is facing the San Francisco 49ers, many Patriots fans would probably say to you, you're done. Game over. But that didn't stop backup quarterback Scott Zolak from believing that he could pull off a huge upset today and vault the Patriots into the playoffs. We pick it up in the first quarter from Foxborough Stadium. Zolak finds Robert Edwards out of the backfield, who gets some blockers in front and just bowls his way into the end zone to give New England a 7-0 lead. But San Fran had a pretty good passing game of their own, with Steve Young hitting his favorite target, Jerry Rice, across the middle, who shakes off a couple of tacklers and then hits the Jets, good for a 75-yard touchdown pass and a tie ball game at 7. But Zolak would show off his own gun, airing it out big time. 61 yards to a wide open Sean Jefferson. This gave the Patriots a 7-point lead. Now, after the 49ers tied the game, they would take the lead when Ty Detmer, the holder here on the field goal try, bobbles the snap, rolls out, and somehow finds Irv Smith for a 25-yard touchdown pass. Are you kidding me? San Fran would take a 7-point lead at the break. We move to the fourth quarter now. Patriots come back with the ground game as Robert Edwards gets his second touchdown of the game. This tied it up at 21. And then with just 6 ticks left in the game, Adam Vinatieri from 35 yards out just barely squeaks it inside the left upright as the Patriots beat the 49ers by 3 and clinch themselves a playoff spot.
Today's effort was a tremendous effort by this club because it took everybody. It took a bunch of players that just wouldn't say die, that wouldn't listen to all of the talk that they didn't have a chance against a great football team.
You know, everybody doubts this team a lot. There's injuries all over the place, but you know, people just keep stepping in, and we're in it again. You know, you never know what could happen once you get in it, and you know, I'm just glad I could get in there and do my job. And
meanwhile, if the New York Giants still wanted to make a run at the playoffs, they would have to win their final 2 games and have Tampa Bay and Arizona lose their final games. Today they took on Kansas City at the Meadowlands. First quarter, Percy Ellsworth picks off Elvis Gerbach for his first of 2 interceptions on the day. He takes this one back 43 yards for a touchdown, and Big Blue is up early 7-0. Still in the first, Kent Graham would hook up with Amani Toomer on the fade, 25-yard touchdown pass, and New York would take a comfortable 21-0 lead at the break. We move to the fourth quarter now. On the quarterback draw, Graham calls his own number, gets into the end zone from 6 yards out as the Giants go on to win it 28-7. New York needs to beat Philly next weekend and have 2 teams lose in order to make the playoffs, but nonetheless, head coach Jim Fossil was proud of the way his team played.
You know, it was the 1,000th game in the regular season. That was important to us to win that one, so somebody could remember at least the 1,000th regular season game. You won it. Certain things that mean a lot to us right now that may not mean a lot to other people, but they mean a lot to us. And so I was proud of this team the way they played.
In Detroit tonight, the Falcons looking to clinch the NFC West if they could beat the Lions. Second quarter, Frank Reich for Detroit finds Herman Moore on a 2-yard touchdown strike. The Lions would take a 14-7 lead at the half. But in the fourth quarter, the Falcons would rip off 14 unanswered points that started with Chris Chandler throwing his second touchdown pass of the game to Terrence Mathis. This tied the game at 17, and then it ended when Jamal Anderson got in from a yard out for his second touchdown of the game as the Falcons improved to 13-2 on the year. They clinched the NFC West and also receive a nice first-round playoff bye for Christmas. In Green Bay, snowy conditions didn't stop the Packers duo of Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman today from beating the Tennessee Oilers. They hooked up 3 times for scoring plays of 57, 68, and 32 yards, and that was all in the first half alone. Freeman finished with 7 catches on the day for 186 yards, and Favre became the first quarterback in the NFL to throw at least 30 touchdown passes in 5 consecutive seasons. As the Packers beat the Oilers 30-22, the Packers are in the playoffs at 10-5. In Pittsburgh, Bengals and Steelers, second quarter, Cordell Stewart loses the pigskin. It's picked up by Sammy Shade, who starts the engine and rumbles it in from 55 yards out. Bengals up 10-0, but Pittsburgh would return the favor. Off the punt return, check out David Dunn. Finds a hole up the middle. Gonna break a couple of tackles. Whoops, loses the pigskin there. It's picked up by his teammate Chris Oldham, who takes it in from 54 yards out. This made it a 2-point ball game. But in the end, the Bengals would prevail. Jeff Blake would hook up with Darnay Scott, 61 yards and the score. And Doug Pelfrey would add a late field goal as the Bengals win for just the 3rd time this season. The final by 1, 25-24. Around the NFL, Dallas beat Philly to clinch the NFC East title. Seattle got by Indy. Carolina came from behind to beat St. Louis. Chicago ripped Baltimore 24-3. Oakland was a touchdown better than San Diego. Arizona beat New Orleans, courtesy of Chris Jackie's 36-yard field goal on the final play of the game. And at last check, Minnesota was beating Jacksonville, so that's good news for Jets fans. Hockey news and notes. The Albany River Rats now own the best record in the Empire Division, courtesy of last night's 4-3 win over Rochester. The game also saw Jeff Williams notch his 19th goal of the season to become the AHL's league leader. And a quick note elsewhere, former River Rats defenseman Brian Helmer was claimed off of waivers from Phoenix. He was picked up by the St. Louis Blues. So good news for him. He was with the Rats organization, I believe, for about 5 years, and it's nice to see him moving on and still finding work on the frozen stuff.
Right. Thank you, John.
Okay.
That is good news. Still to come on Channel 6 News. We will be right back, so stay with us. A horse is a horse, of course, but what if it's less than 2 feet tall? Well, there's a 19-inch midget miniature horse. This one here may be the smallest ever. The Fort Myers, Florida family, which owns Hokey Pokey, hopes to challenge the Guinness Book of World Records. But they will have to wait 2 more years until their pet is full grown. Looks like kind of a cross between a miniature horse and a pot-bellied pig. See the belly on that thing? Then it'll be off to the carnival circuit. We'll be paying $1. Take a look at the Altamont Fair.
Exactly. Coming up in August. That's where you'll find those sorts of animals. Well, we will see maybe a snow or sleet shower coming up overnight tonight. Other than that, maybe a little bit of freezing rain early tomorrow morning, but then temperatures quickly warm. Some rain showers later on in the afternoon. Warm tomorrow, but much colder than Tuesday. Temperatures will fall through the 20s.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. And that's our news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We invite you here for begin your morning with First News at 5:30. And have a good week, everybody.